Revelation is the Greek word apocalypsis. It basically means that there is a veil covering your sight. That until the veil is removed, there's a lot of things that will impede your progress and stop you. But if you are not able to see, it can impede you, it can resist you, it can limit you, it can even cause you not to advance in life. It will do all kinds of things. And there's a lot of things that are hidden in our families, hidden in our past, present, things that are hidden that if we are not operating by the spirit of revelation, it's impossible for us to come into that realm where God will open our eyes to see what is responsible for the issues in our lives. You understand? And if you are operating by the spirit of revelation, it gives you advanced knowledge. It causes you to see things ahead of time. In the days of Pharaoh, when there was famine in the land, do you understand? Imagine if God has not revealed it to Pharaoh and through Joseph's interpretation of the dream, that they were able to prepare in advance for the future. That 7 years, they saved for 7 years of multitude and 7 years of abundance, so that when the famine came, they were able to still sustain life and be able to thrive on because of the dream that was given to Pharaoh and the interpretation that Joseph came by the grace of God to able to interpret. Do you understand? Revelation gives you advanced knowledge. It helps you to peep into the future. And that is what the prophets of old were operating by. Do you understand? So the Isaiah the prophet, one of the major prophets that ever lived, that was able to reveal to us about the Christ 700 years ahead of time, that there will be a son of Jesse. Do you understand? The root of Jesse shall come. And he talks about in Isaiah chapter 11, Isaiah chapter 61, Isaiah chapter 7, Isaiah chapter 9. He was one of the prophets that revealed the Christ. And you have to understand that the testimony of Jesus Christ is the spirit of prophecy. Do you understand? So it's very important that we come into the spirit of revelation so that our eyes will be open, our ears will be open to see divine realities and possibilities. Even what God has assigned, what God has called our children into. If we are not operating by the spirit of revelation, we will not be able to see. And it's possible that we will just do try and error. You understand? He wants us to come into the realm of clarity and purpose and fulfillment and destiny. And it's going to take the spirit of revelation to come into that reality. I hope you know that one of the things that I've always wondered, and the reason why it's almost like a burden to me, the reason why it's a burden because there are so many children over here, but it is your responsibility to seek the Lord concerning what their specific destiny assignment is. It's very important. When you hear John the Baptist, he is the voice of one kind in the wilderness. Prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight his path. Let his crooked places be made straight and his rough places be made smooth. When it comes to Samuel, a prophet, do you understand? Jeremiah, I've called you before you were clothed in your mother's womb. I knew you. I sanctify you and I ordain you as a prophet to the nations. Which means that if you try to cause him to do anything, you only abort the will of God for his life. And I am praying earnestly that some of us that are parents, that we begin to really take time to seek the Lord concerning the specific calling upon our children so that we don't do try and error. And that does not mean they will not obtain basic education, to get all the degrees like a thermometer. It's very important. But that you should not come to a place where you don't know what the will of God is for your children to the point that they live life contrary to what God has ordained them to be. When it comes to Jesus Christ, he said, beloved, I have come in the volumes of the book, it is written of me. Do you understand? To do your will. And that will was to bring salvation to all men and to show us how to live as people here on earth, as the Father expects of us. Very important. And I hope you know that when it comes to Samson's calling, imagine if God has not revealed it to his parents, that he will be living his life contrary to the will of God and doing all kinds of things, only to realize that at the end of his life, when he laid down and he departs from the face of the earth, he has not done the will of God. You understand? He says, Samson, I've called you, I've raised you up to be a deliverer to the people of Israel, to deliver them from the hands of the Philistines. So you see that all his life, his assignment was to deliver the people of Israel from the hands of the Philistines. Very important. That's why we always encourage everyone to train our children in the way in which they should go, so that when they grow up, they will not depart from it. It's very important that we indoctrinate our children to the culture of the kingdom, so that when they grow up, they will not depart from it. Do you understand? The world will offer them so many things. And if they are not rooted like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, like Daniel, that when they even go into a strange land where their parents are not there, they are able to stand against all contradictions, against all threats, against all forces and powers. And he said, King, don't even waste your time. We know the God whom we serve. And we know that if by any means he decides not even to save us, we're still not going to subscribe to your idea of threat. Do you understand? And God did come true for them, that even in the midst of lions, they have to be silenced. They could not touch them. He that is planted in the house of our God shall flourish in the cause of our God. You cannot flourish if you are not rooted and planted in the house of God. That's why the Bible said, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as this is the manner of some when you see the days approaching. The reason why we encourage people to come to the house of the Lord is not because we don't have anything to do. It's because it is the place that God has chosen for us to be indoctrinated, to be taught and to receive instructions, so that we can fortify ourselves against all the arsenals of darkness. And there's blessing that comes when you come into the house of God. And the reason is God, there's certain battles you cannot fight by yourself. But when you come together corporately, we are considered the armies of God, which means that the enemy that you have been taking 5 years to destroy and you are not able to. When people come together, there is an amalgamation of anointings that come together. And dare that devil to take his hands off you, and you are released and delivered.